Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Radical Disruption. I just spent the last week doing something kind of crazy, and that's what this episode is all about. I went out and I studied over 200 high performing Instagram posts across 14 different accounts in totally different niches. I'm talking food, side hobbies, fitness, parenting, finances, all of it. And I've just been on a mission to figure out what is working on Instagram right now in 2026. There's a lot of changes that have happened, and I don't say that because like, oh, the algorithm has changed and like you need to be aware of this and like yes, the algorithm is always changing. That is just the reality being on any social media platform. It's always evolving, just like consumer behavior is always evolving. But with AI infiltrating social media even more in 2026, things have changed a lot. And so I've just been curious for myself, but also because I teach Instagram growth, what is actually working on Instagram right now? So, what I did is I went and I pulled a bunch of accounts ranging from 40,000 followers all the way up to 1.1 million followers, and I looked at these accounts where who are having content that is consistently performing well. So not just accounts where they had like one post that popped off randomly and then all the rest of their content hasn't performed well, but accounts where their content is consistently performing well over and over and over again. And I wanted to look at accounts at every single level, meaning that I didn't just look at small accounts, I didn't just look at mega big accounts. I wanted to see at every single level and see if I could find patterns based off of top performing content throughout all of those accounts in different niches? And the answer is yes. I looked at the top 50 or the last 50 posts that each account had posted, and I took the top 10 best of those posts in terms of engagement and in terms of views. I can't really see any other metrics outside of that. But I was looking at those ones specifically to decide what was a top performing post. And then I took those and I analyzed those to find patterns. And what I found is that there's one thing that every single high performing post has in common across every single niche. And that is, and this is me having analyzed over 200 plus posts that are high performing. I analyzed more posts than even just that, but just specifically these high performing posts. They do not, the ones that are the highest performing, they don't just educate, they don't just share tips. High performing content makes the viewer feel seen. Every single top performing post created what I am going to call an identity moment, which is a moment where the viewer of that post goes, wait, that is me. And they identify with that content. Now, let me give you a few different examples. Example number one of the accounts that I was looking at is a decluttering account. She teaches you how to organize your house, how to get rid of junk, declutter. One of her posts said, in quote, to the mom who was raised in a cluttered home. That post had 6.1 million views. Now, why is that? Because the second a mom that was raised in a cluttered home saw that post, she thought, oh, wait, that's me, right? Now, another example, a side hustle account, she posted, call me crazy, but if you love to fix typos and binge Dateline, you should be a transcript proofreader. It had 968,000 views. And there's actually two identity pieces to that post that she created. The first one was she was talking about being or fixing typos, which is speaking to that grammar nerd out there, which we all know those exist in the world. And then the second person that she was talking to, which isn't necessarily a totally separate person, but she was identity stacking, was the person that binges Dateline, which is someone who likes true crime. And so there were two identity pieces there, which is making her post very, very, very specific. And someone's going to read that and be like, oh, yeah, that's me. I love fixing typos and I love binging Dateline. So again, the top content across the board, all the accounts that I had studied across all different niches, they had that identity moment. And the identity piece obviously ties back to their ideal follower. So I want you to ask yourself, what does my dream follower secretly believe about themselves that nobody is saying out loud? What is that thing that they want permission to feel? And instead of going into content creation, asking yourself, what can I teach today inside of my content? I want you to start asking yourself, what does my person, what is my follower, my dream follower, or my current follower, what do they already feel that I can put into words for them? Game changer, right? That changes the way that you're going to show up and create content. It changes the specificity of your content when you don't just ask yourself, what can I teach today? But what is my person, what is my ideal follower already feeling that I can put into words for them? Game changer. Now, the second thing that I found from my analysis is something that I really want you to lean into. And I'm going to be honest with you. I know that you already know this. I know that you already know that this matters, the thing that I'm about to tell you here. But I just wanted you to know that the data also shows that this matters. Because I know that you hear a lot of noise on social media where people like focus on this and do this. And you're like, I know that I should do that. But I just want to tell you that the data is telling you that it matters. And on top of that, on top of the data telling you that it matters, I've been doing document reviews for scalability students this week, which is basically just where once per quarter, the yearly students inside of scalability can submit things like sales pages or funnels or Instagram accounts or their offer, really any big thing that they're wanting feedback from me on. And I will spend an hour or two looking into it and giving feedback on it. So I've been deep this week in my students' Instagram accounts. And because of that, I'm also seeing that like this same thing that I'm about to share is a huge factor in content performance. So the data is telling you that. I've been in Instagram accounts of my students and I agree with the data, and that is hooks. Now, don't tune me out. I know. Don't tune me out here, okay? Let's chat about it because I know that you struggle with hooks. All of the top performing content that I looked at had super specific hooks. Like I'm talking hyper specific hooks. The more specific the hook, the better the post performed. Like one of the hooks that I was looking at, and this post hit 2.2 million views, which is a lot. It said point of view, so POV. You have the same breakfast every single day because it has 38 grams of protein. It tastes like dessert and it's only 325 calories. That's very specific, right? It didn't just say POV, you have the same breakfast every single day. It didn't say POV, you have a yummy breakfast every single day. It didn't say POV, your breakfast is high in protein. It said POV, you have the same breakfast every single day because it has 38 grams of protein, tastes like dessert, and it's only 325 calories, right? That's hyper specific. So, with all that being said, I want to get a little bit more specific with hooks here. And these are the three formulas that were the most recurring across all different niches when it comes to this top performing content. The formula number one is that POV, like lifestyle view. And the formula here is pretty simple, but it's POV, you, and then you're going to insert a hyper specific scenario for your dream client that they're currently living. Let me give you some more examples of this one. So one of the accounts that I looked at, her Instagram handle is at fitness for lazy girls. One of her hooks on her pieces of content that got 8.6 million views, it said POV, you make a big soup every Sunday because it's super high protein, gets better throughout the week, and it is the easiest meal prep. The proofreading business coach, that's her Instagram handle, she said POV, you choose getting paid to proofread transcripts from your iPad at night instead of clocking in for another shift. That one had 86,000 views. And then at Jordan Lee Dooley, that's her Instagram handle, one of her hooks that got 1.1 million views. It was POV, you asked for a non-toxic coffee maker for Christmas. Again, hyper specific. Why does it work? It drops the viewer into a moment that they recognize from their own life, whether that is a desire that they have, whether that is something that is a pain point that they have, whatever it is, the specificity here is winning. It's not just saying like, again, POV, you're a busy entrepreneur. That doesn't like that. I don't identify with that, right? That doesn't mean anything to me. It's POV, it's 9 p.m. The kids are finally asleep and you're opening your laptop for the third time today to finish what you started at 7 a.m. See the difference there? The first one, very generic. The second one, I set a time. I said it's 9 p.m. and you're sitting down to finish what you started at 7 a.m. You're setting the scene, right? You just put your kids to sleep. You're opening up your laptop for the third time. There's an emotion attached to that. That is why it works. So your action item here for this formula, when you are using this POV formula, you're going to get specific. What is the time of day? What are they holding or what are they not holding? What are they wearing? What did they just say out loud? I want you to paint the scene and get specific. Now, formula number 2 is the permission slip. So the formula here, you're going to start this hook off by saying, this is your sign to dot, 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 or here is your sign to dot, dot, dot. Now, here is the proof that this works. I'm going to give you some examples again from the accounts that I analyze. At Jordan Lee Dooley, her hook was, this is your sign to get a switch to turn your Wi-Fi off at night. This one took us 30 seconds to install. 1.5 million views on that. At Raising Well Kids, so that's her Instagram handle, her hook said, here's your sign to cut the pants. Leaves you curious, right? She got 673,000 views on that, and then she actually reposted that one, repurposed it. Same hook, but a little bit different. And she got 451,000 views on it again. So proof that it works. The proofreading business coach, she has her hook that says, this is your sign to become a wow. Let me retry on reading that there. English is not working out here for me. This is your sign to become a transcript proofreader so you can enjoy shopping at Whole Foods and going to Pilates without the budget guilt. That one got 92,000 views. Why does this work? People want permission to do the thing that they already secretly want to do. And again, specificity matters here. Whole Foods and Pilates without the budget guilt is so much better than her have just saying like, so that you can live the life that you want, right? Let me actually rephrase that for you here. This is her hook rephrase. This is your sign to become a transcript proofreader so you can live the life that you want. Okay. Or this is your sign to become a transcript proofreader so you can enjoy shopping at Whole Foods and going to Pilates without the budget guilt. Which one lands harder? You tell me which one lands harder. There's only one clear answer here. It's the second one. Okay, your action item here is, what does your dream customer want to do but feels guilty about, scared of, or feels like they need a permission slip for? And you're going to write that permission slip out and you're going to start off your hook by saying, this is your sign to dot, 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 or here is your sign to dot, dot, dot. All right, formula number 3. And lastly, with your hooks here, the formula here is you're going to start off your hook by saying one of these phrases. You can say, call me crazy, but dot, 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 or not to be dramatic, but dot, 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 or I hate to be rude, but dot, 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 or unpopular opinion, dot, dot, dot. So one of those is your starter for your hook. Now, let's talk about the proof here. I'm going to pull from the proofreading business coach first. She said, call me crazy, but I think if you love to fix typos and binge Dateline, you should be a transcript proofreader. That one had 968,000 views. At Dr.May.Hughes, that's her Instagram handle. She said, not to be dramatic, but moving before 6 weeks postpartum changed everything. And she is a fitness coach for moms. So she teaches like prepartum. I don't know if that's actually a word, but like as you're pregnant and then also postpartum, like how to stay in shape, but also like keep yourself intact. That's not the word I'm looking for. Your core and everything that you need to do while you are pregnant and then also postpartum. That one had 602,000 views. At declutteryourlife.co. She said, I hate to be rude and I hope this doesn't offend anyone, but dot, dot, dot. And then she wanted to talk about organizing and like systems and things like that. And another one is at Raising Well Kids. She said, unpopular opinion, teaching kids how to do dangerous things is safer than sheltering kids from risk. And that one had 572,000 views. So there are some examples there for you. Now, why does this work? The disclaimer, when you're saying like, I hate to be rude, but, or unpopular opinion, or call me crazy, or not to be dramatic, that disclaimer amplifies whatever comes next. It's basically signaling like what I'm about to say is something that's controversial, which then as a viewer is creating massive anticipation. Your brain is literally like, I want to know what that person has to say, even if I don't agree with it. Like, I have to know what comes next. And again, the specificity rule here still applies. You have to name the exact thing that you are taking a stance on, the exact thing that you have an unpopular opinion on, right? Like, it can't just be like, I'm trying to think of another way to rephrase this last one where she said, unpopular opinion, teaching kids how to do dangerous things is safer than sheltering kids from risk. I'm trying to think of how she could have rephrased that where it could have been more vague. Like, unpopular opinion, you should teach your kids, unpopular opinion, you're, I don't even know how to rephrase that in a way that is not specific. That's a bad example. Let me rephrase a different one. Let me do Dr. Mayhew's. She said, not to be dramatic, but moving before 6 weeks postpartum changed everything. So she could have said, like, not to be dramatic, but working out postpartum changes everything. So that would have been a more vague way. But again, she got specific there, and she got specific on the stance that she has, which is moving before 6 weeks postpartum. And that one is a little bit controversial because people are always talking about, like, you have to wait for your doctor's approval to get, to move. Wow, what am I trying to say? At 6 weeks postpartum, that's usually when people will like get the approval to like start, jumping back into working out. But she's saying like work out before 6 weeks postpartum. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. Your action item here is, what piece of advice does everyone in your niche repeat that you secretly disagree with? Or just what unpopular opinions do you have? So that is your action item from formula number 3. And that is all the formulas. So what I want you to go and do is I want you to open up your notes app right now. I want you to write down the top 3 things that your dream customer, your dream follower secretly believes about themselves, but nobody is saying out loud. I want you to pick one of those, and then I want you to use one of the 3 hook formulas that I shared above, whether that is the point of view one, the permission slip one, or the bold stance formula. And I want you to write a post about it and get hyper specific. I want you to talk about the time of day. I want you to talk about the exact number, if there's a number that's applicable in there. What is the real scenario? What are they doing? What are they wearing? What did they eat? What did they not eat? No vague language here. You're going to get specific and you're going to post it. That is it. I don't want you to overthink it. The accounts that I studied were not doing anything magical. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to break it to you, but there is no secret strategy that people are hiding from you, that I'm hiding from you. They were just doing the basics with way more specificity than everyone else, including you. And if you want to make your life even easier when it comes to creating content, join IG University. And inside, you're going to get access to my custom AI tools that I'm building based on what is working right now on Instagram, so that you don't have to guess with your content. You're going to get instant access to a hook AI, which spits out very specific hooks that are not generic and AI-like. And they are also, guess what? I integrated all my entire analysis of these different accounts that I just did, and I took all the patterns that I saw. I only gave you 3 formulas. There were so much more things that I saw patterns around, and I integrated that into this AI hook bot for you. And so it's not going to just spit out the generic AI junk when it comes to hooks. So you're going to get access to that. You're also going to get access to an AI that turns one long form piece of content into 10 short form pieces of content. So if you are sending out emails or doing podcast episodes or blog posts or YouTube videos, you can take the transcript of those, obviously, like audio or video platforms. And you're going to be able to take that long form and break it up into 10 short form pieces of content literally within 30 seconds. And it is so good. I've started using this for my own. Actually, I built this because one of my scalability students, Coley, asked about it. And I've started using it for my own business because I was like, wait, this is actually so good. Why did this not exist before? And so it's chef's kiss. All this to be said, I am building out so many great AI tools, and this is just the start of it. And I'm going to drop new AI tools inside of IG University every single month. They're going to help you to save time. My goal is to give you a toolkit that saves you 10 plus hours a month with content and still helps you to create content that is on brand, in your tone of voice, helps you to grow and also to sell. So go ahead and check that out in the show notes.